Picture this. You're alone in the wilderness at dusk. The sun bleeds red on the horizon. Every rustle in the undergrowth makes your heart pound. Your primitive brain screams a warning that took millions of years to evolve. You are being watched. What you're feeling right now isn't paranoia. It's the oldest fear hardwired into human DNA. Because somewhere in the fading light, something is studying you, calculating, waiting. And what's truly terrifying, you'll never see it coming. Today, we're descending into the nightmare realm of nature's most ruthless killers. We're not talking about cuddly nature documentary footage set to inspiring music. We're talking about the brutal, blood-soaked reality of predation, the violent truth that powers every ecosystem on Earth. The fact that right now, in this very moment, millions of creatures are being stalked, ambushed, and torn apart. This is the dark side of nature they don't show you in school, the side that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the beauty of the natural world. Because beauty is just camouflage for the killing machine underneath. So turn off your lights, lock your doors, because once you peer into the hunting grounds, you'll never look at nature the same way again. Here's something that will haunt your dreams. Predators aren't just killers. They're ecosystem engineers who sculpt entire worlds through violence. Imagine an invisible hand reaching into a forest, selecting which animals live and which die, not randomly, not mercifully, but with cold, calculated precision. That hand is a predator, and without it, entire ecosystems don't just decline, they collapse into absolute chaos. Let me paint you a nightmare scenario. Remove the wolves from a forest. Seems harmless, right? Wrong. Within months, the deer population explodes like a biological bomb. Thousands of them, breeding unchecked, their numbers swelling beyond comprehension. They descend on the forest like a plague of locusts, stripping every leaf, every sapling, every blade of grass. Trees that stood for centuries are gnawed to stumps. The forest floor becomes a wasteland. Birds lose their nesting sites and vanish. Insects die off. Small mammals starve. The forest doesn't just change, it dies screaming. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The deer themselves suffer the most horrific fate imaginable. Without predators to cull the weak, disease spreads like wildfire through their overcrowded herds. Starvation sets in. Mothers watch their fawns waste away. The strongest survive by trampling over the corpses of their own kind. This is nature without predators, a slow-motion apocalypse. And the predators know this. They've always known. When a wolf pack singles out the sick elk, when a lion chooses the weakest buffalo, they're not being cruel. They're performing surgery on the gene pool itself. Every kill is an act of quality control. Every hunt strengthens the prey population for generations to come. It's brutal, it's merciless, and it's absolutely necessary. The predator isn't the villain of this story. It's the only thing standing between order and oblivion. Now let me tell you about the creatures that perfected the art of the ambush. These are the nightmare fuel that evolution spent millions of years crafting. Silent, invisible, perfectly lethal. Close your eyes and picture yourself walking through tall savanna grass. The golden light filters through. It's peaceful, beautiful, but you don't see what I see. You don't see the spotted pattern in the shadows. You don't see the yellow eyes locked onto your throat. You don't see the leopard that's been following you for the last 20 minutes, matching your every step, waiting for the perfect moment. And then, it's too late. The attack lasts 3 seconds, maybe 4. There's no dramatic chase scene, no chance to run, just explosive violence so fast your brain can't process it. One moment you're walking, the next you're on the ground with jaws locked around your windpipe. By the time the carer hits, you're already dying. This is the horror of ambush predators. They don't just kill you, they delete you from existence before you even know you're in danger. Consider the crocodile. ancient, unchanged for 200 million years. Why? Because it achieved predatory perfection. It lies in murky water, looking like a floating log, harmless, dead. But those eyes are watching. That brain is calculating distance, wind speed, angle of attack. It's performing complex physics in real time. When the wildebeest leans down to drink, the water explodes. 3,000 pounds of armored muscle launches upward with impossible speed. The jaws, capable of 3,700 pounds of pressure per square inch, close around the victim's head. There's a sickening crunch. Then the death roll begins, a spinning nightmare that tears flesh from bone. The water turns red. The thrashing stops. The entire hunt, from still water to corpse, takes 11 seconds. But here's what really chills the blood. The crocodile felt nothing. No rage, no excitement, no satisfaction. Just the cold, mechanical execution of a genetic program written millions of years ago. It's a biological machine engineered for one purpose: converting living flesh into dead meat. And the vipers, God, the vipers. They don't just wait, they become invisible. Their scales mirror the exact pattern of dead leaves. They control their breathing. They suppress their body heat. For hours, they transform into part of the landscape itself, a living trap. When the mouse scurries past, the strike is so fast it's literally invisible to the human eye. 0.2 seconds from stillness to injection. The fangs pump venom into tissue, and the snake releases its prey. Why? Because it doesn't need to hold on. The venom is already doing its work. The mouse runs. It thinks it escaped, but it's already dead. It just doesn't know it yet. The neurotoxins are spreading through its bloodstream, shutting down muscles, stopping the heart. Within minutes, it collapses, paralyzed but fully conscious, and then the snake follows the scent trail to its victim and begins swallowing it whole, still alive, still aware. This is the genius of ambush predators. They turn patience into a weapon more deadly than any claw or fang.
If ambush predators are lightning strikes, pursuit predators are the gathering storm. They don't hide, they don't sneak, they announce their presence and dare you to outrun death itself. Let's talk about the cheetah, the fastest land animal on Earth, 70 miles per hour in 3 seconds. But here's what the documentaries don't tell you. Speed is only part of the nightmare. When a cheetah locks onto a Thompson's gazelle, something terrifying happens. The gazelle knows it's been chosen. It can feel the predator's eyes on its back. The chase begins, and the gazelle runs for its life, zigzagging desperately, burning every ounce of energy in its muscles. But the cheetah isn't just fast, it's mathematically precise. Its spine flexes like a spring with every stride. Its claws are semi-retractable, giving it traction like cleats. Its tail acts as a rudder, allowing turns that would snap a human spine. The cheetah doesn't follow the gazelle's path. It calculates where the gazelle will be and cuts the angle. The gazelle runs left. The cheetah is already there. Right, already there. The gap closes. 20 feet, 10 feet, 5. Then the cheetah's dew claw, a curved talon on its front leg, hooks the gazelle's hind leg. The prey tumbles end over end. Before it can rise, jaws close around its throat. But here's the dark secret. The cheetah doesn't kill quickly. It's exhausted from the chase. It needs to recover, so it holds the suffocating bite for 5 minutes, sometimes 7. The gazelle's eyes roll, its legs kick weakly. It drowns in air, fully conscious, while the cheetah's heart rate slowly returns to normal. Yet even this calculated horror pales compared to the nightmare of pack hunters. Wolves. African wild dogs, the apex of cooperative killing. Imagine being selected by a wolf pack. You're an elk weakened by winter. The pack appears on the ridge. They don't charge, they don't rush. They start walking toward you, just walking. You run, they follow, not sprinting, just a steady, mechanical trot. You run for your life, your heart hammering, your lungs burning, but when you look back, they're still there. Same distance, same pace, tireless. You run for 30 minutes, your muscles scream. You slow down, they don't. You run for an hour, your legs are shaking. They're still coming. This is their strategy, relentless, inescapable pursuit until your body simply gives out. But it gets worse. They're not mindlessly chasing. They're using tactics that would impress a military commander. The pack splits. Some wolves push you toward others lying in ambush. They take turns leading the chase, rotating fresh runners to the front. They cut off escape routes, herding you exactly where they want you. And when you finally collapse, legs buckling, lungs heaving, unable to move another inch, they don't kill you immediately. The pack surrounds you. They're panting, tongues hanging out, but there's no mercy in their eyes, just cold assessment. Then they begin eating. You're still alive. They start with the soft tissue, belly, haunches. Your own body becomes your tomb as they feed. The alpha eats first, then the others, and through it all, you're conscious, feeling everything, until finally, mercifully, blood loss or shock grants you oblivion. This is the horror of pursuit predators. They don't end your life in a moment of violence. They chase you to exhaustion, break your will to live, then consume you while your heart still beats.
Now I'm going to tell you a ghost story. It's real. It happened in Wyoming, and it proves that removing predators doesn't make an ecosystem safer. It transforms it into a living hell. In the 1920s, humans decided wolves were the enemy. They poisoned them, shot them, trapped them. By 1926, the last wolf in Yellowstone was dead. People celebrated. The dangerous predators were gone. The park was safe. What happened next was an ecological horror show that unfolded over 70 years. Without wolves, the elk population exploded from 4,000 to over 20,000. 20,000 elk, all eating constantly, destroying everything in their path. They descended on the willow groves along the rivers and stripped them to bare ground. They devoured aspen saplings before they could grow. The riverbanks, once lush with vegetation, became wastelands. But the willows weren't just trees. They were home. Songbirds lost their nesting sites and vanished. The beaver population crashed from 10,000 to fewer than 1,000 because they had no willows to eat or build dams with. Without beaver dams, the river ecology collapsed. The rivers straightened, deepened, and eroded their banks. Pools disappeared. The water heated up. Fish populations plummeted. The riparian habitat, the green corridor along the water, died. And the elk themselves, they suffered most of all. Overcrowded, malnourished, disease-ridden, the paradise without predators became a concentration camp of starvation and suffering. This went on for 70 years, an entire ecosystem in slow-motion collapse. Then, in 1995, something remarkable happened. 31 wolves were captured in Canada and released into Yellowstone. Just 31 animals in an 8,000 square kilometer park, and almost immediately, the nightmare ended. The wolves began hunting. The elk population dropped, yes, but something more interesting happened. The elk remembered fear. They stopped lingering in river valleys where they were vulnerable. They started moving, staying alert, avoiding open areas. For the first time in 7 decades, willow saplings could grow without being immediately eaten. Within years, trees that had been suppressed for generations shot up. The willows returned. The aspens returned. The riverbanks stabilized. The beavers came back. They built dams. The dams created ponds. The ponds attracted otters, muskrats, ducks, amphibians. The songbirds returned to nest in the willows. Foxes and badgers fed on the remains of wolf kills. Ravens and eagles followed the wolves, scavenging their prey. Even the rivers themselves changed. The restored vegetation stabilized the banks, reducing erosion. The rivers stopped wandering and carved deeper pools. The ecosystem that had been dying for 70 years began to resurrect itself, all because of 31 wolves. This is called a trophic cascade, when a top predator's effects ripple through every level of an ecosystem. But here's the truly unsettling part. If removing one predator can cause this much destruction, how many ecosystems are currently collapsing around the world? How many ticking bombs have we created by eliminating the hunters? The answer keeps ecologists awake at night. So here we are, at the end of our journey into darkness, and I need you to understand something crucial. Everything I've shown you, all the violence, all the horror, all the blood, is necessary. Predators aren't monsters, they're guardians. Brutal, merciless guardians who maintain order through violence because that's what nature requires. They are the immune system of the planet, destroying the weak so the strong can thrive. Think about sea otters. Cute, right? Those adorable faces floating on their backs, cracking shells on their bellies. But remove them from an ecosystem, and you unleash an underwater apocalypse. Sea urchins multiply exponentially, mowing down kelp forests that took decades to grow. These forests, which shelter thousands of species, become barren wasteland in months. One small predator maintains an entire underwater kingdom. Remove it, and the kingdom dies. This pattern repeats across every ecosystem on Earth. Sharks in the ocean, eagles in the sky, spiders in your garden. Every predator, no matter how small, is holding back chaos. They are the thin line between order and collapse. In humans, we're systematically eliminating them. Habitat destruction, hunting, pollution, climate change. We're removing the guardians and wondering why everything is falling apart. Here's the terrifying truth. We're conducting the largest ecological experiment in Earth's history, and we have no idea what the consequences will be. But we're starting to see glimpses. Coral reefs collapsing without sharks to control herbivorous fish. Forests dying without wolves to control deer. Insect populations crashing without birds to keep them in balance. Every time we remove a predator, we light a fuse. Sometimes it burns for years before the explosion, but the explosion always comes. So the next time you see a predator, a hawk circling overhead, a snake in the grass, a spider in its web, don't see a monster, see a guardian. See an engineer, see a necessary evil that keeps the entire system running. Because in nature's grand design, the hunters aren't the villains, they're the only heroes we have. Close your eyes one more time. Picture that wilderness at dusk, the rustling grass, the watching eyes, the primal fear. But now you understand what you're feeling. It's not the fear of death, it's the fear of the necessary, the fear of the mechanism that has kept life on Earth viable for 500 million years. The fear of predation, the oldest, most successful, most vital process in the history of life. And somewhere in the gathering dark, something is hunting, something is dying, something is being born. The cycle continues, as it always has, as it always must. Because nature isn't beautiful in spite of predators. Nature is beautiful because of them. Thank you for descending into darkness with us today. If this changed how you see the natural world, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, because there are more nightmares to explore, more truths to uncover in the shadows of the wild. Drop a comment below. What predator terrifies you most and why? What keeps you up at night when you think about the hunters in the darkness? Stay curious, stay vigilant, and never forget, in nature, you're always either the hunter or the hunted. See you in the next nightmare.